welcome everyone. As you can see, I've disappeared into the void, unfortunately. My camera is having some minor connection issues here tonight. It just is the way it is sometimes. Look, we'll just carry on, moving on. I am Bluepanda. Joining me on the mic again is Spudoom Spud. We're going to be jumping into the lower bracket here for the AEL University League. Both teams we have on the docket today have been, handed some pretty severe losses. They've had to verse probably two of the favourite teams to make it through to that grand final spot. So, look, they're coming off the back of a rough loss. They're coming in tonight. We have to expect one team to make it through. That's just how it works. But after this, obviously, no more safety net. The loser of this matchup will, unfortunately, be out of the tournament. What do we need to see out of both these teams for them to be the ones to progress?
Well, both of these teams are going to need to play at their absolute best because, as you mentioned, this is the lower bracket. So if they do lose here, they are eliminated from the tournament and there is no second option. So both teams will, of course, need to, beat the other team. It is a best of 3, so they both pick one map and there is a decider. But obviously you don't want to be going through to the decider because it leaves a bit of uncertainty. So hopefully at least one team will be able to take their opponent's map pick as well and then just win off a nice 2-0. Better to leave some breathing space for themselves, I guess.
My camera is just not having any of it tonight. We'll just progress through. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But look, we're coming into tonight. Big thank you to our sponsors, as per usual. Chatime, AOC, Indomie, and RIG, who make all of this possible. They're going to be the ones powering us through all the way up to the grand finals, where things start to get really interesting. Again, just disappearing. I don't know what's going on. It's not my fault. It's the computer. Whatever. Look, okay, so our two teams. We're just going to power through. Up first is going to be UwUNSW, coming out of the University of New South Wales. They're going to be looking to come and progress through that lower bracket, secure themselves a spot and that final matchup, the final two. And then we go on your screen. Aran, Dragrin, Jim's Mobile Cafe, Kaya, and Waxy playing here tonight. Jim's Mobile Cafe was definitely a notable over the competition. Maybe not necessarily because he was the one leading the table, but he was there, he was involved, he was constantly on the screen. Unfortunately, the stats, look, we discussed this before we went live. Spud, they're a bit bleak, mostly because these are the stats from their matchup last week, where, in all honesty, it was a bit rough. RMIT Black took down UwUNSW 7-2, 7-1, and look, I think it's just there was a bit of a disparity over the whole in terms of stats.
Yeah, for those who are not aware, by now, RMIT Black are kind of, the favorites to win, everything, and they have some really, really good players. Lots of Challenger League players, some ex-Pro League players, and, I hear they have a Pro League player as a sub. So, UwUNSW definitely had a tough game last week, so not great in terms of numbers, but I think those numbers don't show us the full picture. They definitely had a great run during the group stages. They went 10-2 in terms of rounds, games won to games lost, and those 2 losses were against also RMIT Black. So technically, throughout this entire tournament, they've only ever lost to RMIT Black. So maybe that will change today, but who knows? There definitely is still hope for UwUNSW.
Now on the other side of the docket, it is UniMelb, the University of Melbourne Arctics, coming in here, looking to try and, push past UwUNSW, book themselves. But obviously they played against Monkey U2S, again, 7-2, 7-1, 7-2 loss this time to Monkey U2S, who, another team that have been looking phenomenal. But here we go on the card, Andrew, Cookie, Obi, Pornian, and Sour Dust looking to take the stage here and, push through that lower bracket, that dream lower, not really the dream lower bracket run, but as good a lower bracket run as you could achieve in this situation. Now, they themselves were no slouches at all, playing out of Group C. In fact, look, you got to commend them on their skills, going 5-0-1 throughout the entirety of Group C. And honestly, some of the matches they did take were pretty handily theirs.
Yeah, their only loss was against UwU, the one of the more experienced teams as well, and again, one of those teams that were looking at potentially making it to the grand finals. So, they're definitely not a bad team. I think these stats, again, don't really show us a true picture. You always have to look at numbers in the context of how they played and what they played, and especially considering who they played, it just really doesn't show us anything in terms of who could win. It'll show us how they compared against, Monkey UTS, but not necessarily against UwUNSW. Speaking of which, we are going to do a head-to-head comparison and look directly at those two teams going against each other. And we will be focusing on Obi and Aaron, both playing with a similar, I guess, rating. So Aaron with a slightly better rating of 1.0, and he has a slightly better survival rate, but needless to say, both of these players have not lived very long in terms of rounds lived.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, especially this comparison. You look at what they are playing. So you got Aaron entry playing that Roma as well in the defense, Sophia and Pulse, and then you get Obi who's playing flank watch in the attack, Nomad, and playing that sight anchor on the defense, the Maestro. So they have two different roles. Both of them have been putting in big work for their teams, and not definitely one of the figures on either side of that docket that could be the ones to push it over the edge. But I mean, look, coming into today, we have our own predictions. We'll get those up there as well. We'll let you know what we thought coming into this matchup as to how this would play out. And there, look, it's Red again who is the one to go against the flow. Everyone but Red has pegged UwUNSW to be the ones to make it through. Red, the sole proprietor of that University of Melbourne vote.
Well, I do have to say, Red is known to be a bit of a mystery to us, and his ways are beyond our understanding. Because last week, he was the only player who managed to pick QT as the winner against Monash. So, you know, he might be onto something here again. He might be going against the grain, and we might all think he's crazy, but maybe he actually knows. He's just better than us.
I mean, he also did vote for Monash Platinum versus UwU, sorry, and that one didn't go the way. So everyone at the moment is currently tied, 2 correct predictions to the 1 wrong. But today is the day. UwUNSW versus University of Melbourne Arctics. Coming into this matchup, map bans are key. And seeing as to where we're going to be going, Oregon first, Cafe Dostoevsky second, and then Clubhouse as the decider here, Spud. 3 maps that we have seen a ton of in this competition. Going into Oregon first, I mean, this is something that is a staple in the competitive scene in terms of map pools. Arctic versus UNSW. Honestly, this is probably going to be the most even playing field we have here tonight.
Yeah, all of these maps are really just sort of those lean towards the technical side and things where there are lots of mini games, especially on Clubhouse and Oregon. And as you mentioned, we do see these maps a lot. I think we see Clubhouse almost every time. Same with Oregon. So Cafe is a nice change. But yeah, we see these maps a lot, and it also means both of these teams will have experience playing them, and they will have watched VODs from all the other teams playing as well. So there's definitely lots of experience that they already have, which means they'll have to be bringing their best game. There's no, making small mistakes or, sloppy work, because everyone knows how to play these maps. Everyone knows the maps very well, and so you have to perform very well in order to actually take away the win.
And it's going to be interesting going into this matchup. First map, Melbourne will be starting off on the attack here in Oregon. We've seen some, dichotomies when it comes to this map. Some teams excel when it comes to the defense. They just absolutely power through a half. They pick up the rounds they need to. They push it over the finish line in the second half. But we've also seen the opposite, where teams come in, they take a very, very commanding attacking half, and then they are the ones to take the map out. Obviously going to defensive, which is the more preferred side for the most part, most teams coming into this map. And then we go to Cafe, where it is a little bit 50-50 in terms of how teams do approach it, what setups they bring. So honestly, 3 of the most strategically intensive maps coming through. Obviously, we're not going to see anything wildly diverse compared to what we see in the likes of Chalet, the likes of Coastline, the likes of Villa, where you can sort of get away with those weird and wonderful strategies. So we are going to see your norms. It's going to come down to gunfights throughout, I would imagine, the majority of Oregon here, and that's exactly where we're going to be going. Jumping straight into the map, Spud. Operator bans, so key, so important, and, well, I mean, we've seen a huge amount of Thatcher. Do you reckon he sneak through again?
If the Sixth Invitational didn't reinforce how often Thatcher is banned, surely we will. I definitely think Thatcher will be taken off the board. It's just so powerful a ban in terms of making sure that some of those walls stay shut, especially that blue hatch, electric hatch, when we're talking about the basement. It will be Jackal being banned first. I do think that UwU are banking on UniMelb banning out the Thatcher for them. It's a very quick decision here, in fact. That's one of the quickest bans I've seen so far. And it will be Thatcher indeed taken off the board.
I think, yeah, it's one of those bans, those operators that you just don't want to let through. You can kind of see what maybe your opponents are trying to set up, but it's just not worth the risk at the end of the day. There we go, the other side of that coin that is usually banned out here in Oregon. Mirror, denied, taken away. No chance, no how. But where do University of University of New South Wales look? Take it. Cade is going to be the final denial here on the defense. Nothing overly surprising, but it does let some options through.
Yeah, I mean, we did talk about that the electric hatch just a moment ago, and getting rid of that Kaid just makes opening that so much easier. It means you don't have to rely on a Maverick to do it. It is one of those critical points, and we often see Kaid banned for that reason. However, speaking of which, it will actually be the laundry room as our first site, so we'll see how this plays out. An interesting setup. I'm very much reminded of the SSG style here.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is that Rome with the Mutant Mozzie combo plus usually Castle, but they were almost doubling down on the Castle and a Rooney. So yeah, it is synonymous almost with that SSG style room. What you're seeing a lot of teams doing at the moment is they will reinforce attic, they'll extend up into meeting, open that hatch, and then they can play around there. And it looks like maybe, just maybe, that's what they're looking to do here on the side of UwUNSW. In fact, it might even be that full extension all the way up to the attic. So yeah, it is looking more and more like this SSG style roam the longer this prep phase goes.
Yeah, they've got so much intel denial here. They've got the Mute and the Mozzie and the Vigil. So definitely leaning very heavily into this. They could get caught off maybe by a rush early on from UniMelb. But if UniMelb don't read into this, they could also end up being stalled out. That elbow wall is reinforced, so it won't be able to go through there. And yeah, indeed, even the blue hatch is opened out here, which is something you rarely see, I feel.
Yeah, it's a different approach to this bomb site. And we see some teams run it. You're more likely to see it on the likes of Clubhouse, something like that. Even cafe style extensions have been seen as well. But well, we'll have to see what they can achieve. What can UwUNSW do? It is that full extension upstairs. Jim's Mobile Cafe off on his own on the roam once again. But Spud, the one thing we need to take notice of, this could play into the hands of Melbourne. They could just go for that straight rush down main stairs.
Yeah, lots of utility and players just being dumped onto that big tower side, but not much, as you mentioned, on this main stairs. Andrew already entering now, and it looks like he's going contesting this attic player. I think a drone has gone by, but hasn't quite located the position. Maybe waiting for a pinch here, as Dragon, I believe, is the only one up here. So not much support in terms of other players who can help out.
Well, the drone, I believe, has gone in. Oh, Dragon doesn't care. Andrew had the advantage, had the angle. Dragon just turns around and says, not a chance, buddy. Shuts it down, gets away with a sliver of health, but in the situation, that's all you need. What a massive way to kick off round one.
That's a great first pick there, definitely. Slowing down that Ash as well, and now he's able to fall back as well and get some support. He doesn't have to do much else now. He's already managed to do that damage to just slow down the attackers. They realize they have to do this clear now, and that's the point. By the time they get onto the site, there won't be enough time. This Vigil as well, playing into that Iana, able to deny that intel coming out. And in fact, it looks like this Vigil is just hiding in here. Not sure if he's aware of these other players. Oh no, Dragon is taken down, but Sourdusk is so close to losing his life. They are neck and neck next to each other.
Well, they find one. Can they find another one? Yes, it seems they can. Jim is on the job, dishing out punishment and tasty sandwiches. Oh, swinging around looking for more. It's going to be Nut to find the frag instead. Steals away the kill on a croissant. It's Obi left alone in a 1v4. UwUNSW, they've come into this map storming towards a round one victory.
Yeah, that's a very commanding position to be holding at this point. 30 seconds left, one player left on the clock. I'm just wondering whether Uwa will start to fall back now or whether they'll continue this kind of loose hold. But the gun does give away Obi, and Kaya will be answering back. And that will be UwUNSW taking the first round with only one player down, which is not bad at all.
Yeah, I mean, they just absolutely ran away with it. Some big frags. Jim went huge on that Mozzie. Pretty much his go-to on a lot of these rounds as well on the defense for UwUNSW. At least what we saw in the last stream anyway. But this defense basement, it's been won. And honestly, no one, I mean, other than the one remaining player of OB, got even remotely close to the bomb site. All the other kills upstairs, first, second floor. And now speaking of, they are going to be heading up to dorms. No real surprises in the progression of bomb sites as of yet. But this is one that can be a bit rough for both sides of the coin. If the attackers find an avenue in, very hard to retake. Comes down to those big impact gunfights for the defenders. But it's one that you can also find yourself struggling to get into in the first place as an attacker.
Yeah, I do like the fact that they have chosen to bring this Nomad just to lock down some of these rotates and these roamers. As we have seen, the roamers have been so powerful and so influential. So having that Nomad will just bring a little bit more peace of mind to the attackers. I felt like the Nomad didn't have too much of an impact last time in terms of her utility. Certainly almost got one frag, I believe. But not really in terms of getting those air jabs down. So hopefully we see those air jabs being used a little more effectively during this round.
Yeah, it's about covering your bases, and I couldn't honestly think of a more important utility on this lineup. Obviously, other than the hard breach, but the flanks are so key on a map like Oregon, especially when we see that UwUNSW are running that vigil, are roaming, running the roaming Mozzie paired with that mute. It's a real powerhouse combo. Oh, Andrew almost caught by an early aggressor, but not to be for the moment. Hornian as well, spotting out some of that early information around defensive positionings. We have seen a fairly off-site heavy presence here from UwUNSW so far.
Yeah, it's very much a roam style, very heavy roam, in fact, style of play here, which is a little bit, I would say, refreshing on some of these maps, which tend to be a bit more technical. We see more early kills, and there were lots of early kills. In fact, there was only one player left by the time they got onto that site at that last execute. Kill here, almost coming out, but unfortunately shoots the wrong guy. So just able to pick off Jim's Mobile Cafe in a nice early frag.
And Jim was pretty big in the last round. Found himself a decent multi-frag and well and truly upset the momentum. For them to take that off the board, it's going to be huge. Not to mention, those pests can no longer be utilized at all. And Nutty's at the moment. Just going to be threatened off that meeting wall. Opens up the angle, swings in. Can't find much of anything. We'll have to pull back. It's damage, but unfortunately not quite enough to secure the kill.
Yeah, but I see them, the potential there in terms of just slowing down and sowing confusion in the attackers. I mean, the attackers still need to get onto the second floor site. Remember, the site isn't the meeting hall. So Vigil, having, done a little bit of disruption, is now going back upstairs. Waxy Arbor will pick off Croissant, and that will be a nice headshot from the smoke. Smoke is down low, but he's still got his smoke grenades to work with, so that's still critical utility. Dragon picks up another one as Obi falls, leaving just 3 players against the 4.
Well, it's been dropped even further again. Nut will find himself another kill. Sourdust to fall this time. Finishes off the job that he started earlier. But the health bars, not the greatest at the moment for UwUNSW. 3 of 4 players could be taken down with a single shot. Well, Hornian and Andrew, they're going to start to kick that process off. Dragon, the first to fall of the remaining 4. They have an idea of where one is, and unfortunately, Waxy just gives away the game. Andrew might be able to lock it down. Hornian does have the diffuser, will be able to push his way up and join up with his teammate. But look at this Kaya holding down Armory Stairs is going to be the one to resist. Denies the player with the diffuser. And they could look to play the clock. Andrew's going to find a triple in the round, but no chance to get that diffuser. No chance to contest the gunfight. UwUNSW pull the win out of the bag and deny the potential for what would have been a huge win there for University of Melbourne.
Yeah, that was definitely, Uwu's round in terms of momentum at the start, but definitely those 2 kills by Andrew on site really tipped those scales back towards UniMelb. Those critical picks were really important for just freeing up the site and getting rid of that presence and as you mentioned, even out the odds. Unfortunately, you still need to get that diffuser down onto site, and Punian, unfortunately, in the wrong position and just not ready for that gunfight.
Well, going in round 3. This is a minor changes coming into this meeting hall defense. Alibi making her way through. It's definitely one talked about a lot at different levels of play. Can be quite a scary one as well because of the misinformation, because of the return of information. In fact, on those prismas, makes it a little bit tenuous, a little bit scary prospect for those attacking players.
Yeah, again, playing into this roam style, it allows them once again to slow down some of these attackers. It doesn't necessarily have to involve a gunfight, as long as it sows confusion and forces the attackers to rethink their strategy. That's the aim of a roam, and that's the job done. Obviously, it's better if you also land a kill, but more or less, that's what you're aiming for here.
Well, aiming, yeah, look, it's what you're going to be aiming for. Just the return on information, like I said, is just so huge. You just shoot through a window. The positioning is so key. You place it these key windows that attackers are going to be looking to open up anyway. Free information, free momentum that defenders can then generate off of it. Dragger, not quite sure where he wants to be going at the moment, but hey, look, he's going to be moving around. He's going to be positioning himself. These drones, though, are going to be so key. Gemini Replicator used to deal with the Saria Gate. So it's not like University of Melbourne aren't utilising the tools available to them. Unfortunately, it's just UwUNSW having a better handle on this map.
Yeah, Vigil so far has been really, really important here. It's just been able to deny so much intel, even with this Yana being brought out here. So, they're really playing well into the style, and unfortunately, it just seems the attackers have just not been able to counter this very aggressive roam-heavy style that Uwu are bringing. They've gotten very close, mind you. That last attack in particular, some great early picks, and also clearing out that side very well. But unfortunately, Jim's Mobile Cafe is just too good here, able to get one pick. He will be refrag, however, and that's 4v3. But Obi takes another one, and that clears out yet another player off UwUNSW's lineup.
Yeah, they are trading these frags out. We're going to start to clear that utility, start to pressure down towards the actual bomb site itself. But look at this Kaya in a great spot to try and contest anyone pushing, but it doesn't matter. Andrew is absolutely fragging like a champion right now. Has found several big frags in the last round and a half, and he's looking for even more if he can find it. They are doing a good job clearing things out vertically, setting themselves up to go for that execute onto this kitchen side, it would seem. Even the coverage of the Claymores and those air jabs as well. They've lost the hard breacher, but at this stage, it's not the biggest impact player on the board. Oh, there we go. Gemini in spots the player in security. Dragon might be in a bit of trouble for the moment. But University of Melbourne, they haven't gone and pulled that trigger to go onto the bomb site.
Yeah, looking a little stalled out here as we've got 45 seconds roughly to work with to execute. But it doesn't matter. They get another kill onto Dragon, and that's all the players on off-site. Waxy will find one to reply with. Will he get the second? A drop shot coming out now. No, that's not a drop shot. That's a down. My bad. But Obi is already on the plant now, and one player left to cover this diffuser. Waxy heading upstairs now against the Claymore. Unfortunately, air jabs will give away his location, and now he's got an uphill battle to fight.
There's nothing worse than being in a post-part situation, getting hit by an air jab. Waxy still has the opportunity to go for this, though. Looking to close things down, but unfortunately, Obi, in that post-plant situation, will be able to get themselves that first round on the board. Just having the security, having the cross angles they needed to hold the post-plant. And, well, it seems University of Melbourne are not out of it just yet.
That's the first attack for them, and definitely a good change of pace from these last two rounds, and definitely going to be a morale booster considering that second round, just a very, very close loss. So UniMelb able to take one out on this tertiary site. However, it does allow Uwu to go back onto their primary site, which, as we have seen, is the laundry supply room. So will we see a repeat of the first time? It looks like we won't, because this is a drastically different lineup that we're seeing being brought from Uwu.
Well, obviously, you got to wonder just how many rounds the University of Melbourne can string together. Obviously, they've got one now. They've stole that momentum that it is on, well, one of the two weaker sites on Oregon so far. And obviously, we're going to have to go, but, well, We don't have to go to one of them again, but if UwUNSW win this, they win Dorms as well. We will have to see it at least one more time. So it might be a chance for University of Melbourne to get themselves a second in the half. But it's not like it has been an absolute slaughter coming the way of UwUNSW. It gets me every time. NSW. But, I mean, the primary and secondary bomb sites have looked incredibly secure.
Yeah, and what this lineup really is telling me is that they have lots of strategies to work with. They're very confident with this. They can work with different lineups. They can work with different styles. I'm going to, we're seeing more of an elbow extension here with the traditional Jaeger and Smoke, and also the Wamai to work with compared to that early Roam heavy SSG style. So, it shows they're versatile. They can work with a lot of different strategies. And whether UniMelb is able to do the same thing and adapt will really show us how good UniMelb is, whether they can work and play into both these different styles of defense.
Well, defense is going to be key here. This is where most teams are going to be looking to pick up their rounds, or the majority of them. So hopefully UwUNSW can get themselves at least one more. Guarantees them at least a 3-3 half, but obviously they're going to be gunning for that 5-1 if they can. For the moment, though, we do see University of Melbourne gearing themselves up for this duel to execute down to this basement. They're going to look to push in through tarps, potentially through main stairs as well, but they're doing a good job clearing things out. They don't want to get caught on that flank. They don't want to get caught out by anyone unawares. They're opening the hatches. They're just giving themselves a huge number of options for the moment. And, well, it is going to be a matter of prodding, poking that defense, seeing where those weaknesses establish themselves, and from there exploding in. They are gearing themselves up for it for the most part. Gemini is going to come down, Dragon shoot it out so they know that there's someone playing on the pillar. But Nut is there as well. They do have a huge amount of support to lock down main stairs.
Yeah, playing in that Harry Potter spot will be really helpful as well. However, that shield does go down, so Dragon does lose a bit of support, but not taking that initial gunfight, taken low, not able to confirm. Either side is still looking for those picks, and it looks like Blue is actually pretty free at the moment. Smoke has locked out this ace, so unable to get that refrag on the Buttnut, but I spoke too soon. Sourdust will be able to take the first on to Buttnut as Waxy looks once again to challenge this construction swap.
Yeah, we're seeing a different approach to the bomb site. Here we are, have that elbow extension, as you would expect on a bomb site like this. Otherwise, there are some minor deviations. This smoke canister is making things hard. Waxy does find that kill on the Obi. That's Diffuser isolated now. Shield still there, making it very hard to contest this angle. It's going to be picked up. Oh, Waxy almost catches Sourdust on the tail end of that retreat towards Boiler. One more toxic canister is going to be going out, locking the potential for a contest in this elbow position. The ADS is still there as well. Waxy is doing a phenomenal job. Jim just holds on for dear life, takes out Croissant. They do get the flash deep into elbow, but is it going to be enough to try and push on through? Waxy's going to be contested. Andrew for 2 finds Dragrin as well, and all of a sudden, man advantage back in the favour of Melbourne. Kaya finds 1, but Andrew and us team up for 2, and the numbers outweigh. University of Melbourne are going to be able to equalise.
What a brilliant execute there from Andrew. Definitely the MVP of that round. And so far, I have to say, for this matchup, getting so many kills on that Ashe, a little bit of a late entry, but it was an entry onto site, and he made himself known there, getting 3 kills there. Crucial kills to even out the scoreline and ultimately take the win away from UwUNSW. So definitely, Andrew, looks like once he's warmed up, he is ready and roaring to go.
I mean, honestly, just the fragging potential coming out of Andrew right now. I mean, look, the epitome of an Ashe main. Just in, shift W, find the heads, take them off, win your ones. And all of a sudden, we have a bit of a game on our hands. University of Melbourne, the first 2 rounds were a bit rough. Round 1, only one of their players got onto the bomb site. Round 2, it was just an absolute deny by Kaya at the end there. And then they warm themselves up. They come in around 3. They get themselves the plant down. They get themselves to win. Round 4, Andrew just storms in. Takes the man count. Takes the round. And hopefully, University of Melbourne can ride that momentum into the half.
Yeah, looks like that anchor style just did not play out at all for UwUNSW. Definitely preferring that more aggressive roaming style But they will actually, in fact, switch sites completely. I mean, following that particular loss, I think it would be a wise choice to perhaps move on to somewhere else. Second floor will be the site of choice this time. And once again, they are choosing a lot of intel denial. Vigil and Mozzie and Mute being brought. The triple combo.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a powerful setup as well. Deny that information. Do not give your opponents any opportunity to figure out where those positions are. Look at this. Kaya is on the road downstairs with Maestro of all operators. It's not one you're going to be seeing every day. Vertically, though, they are kicking things off, looking to open up this walk-in wardrobe wall. 3 Ws. If they can do that, they can pressure into games. They can establish that crossfire through the site, cut it almost in half. Not quite, but enough that you could start to go for that plant in through games. They're just doing a good job. This is University of Melbourne recognizing that there has been a lot of roam threatened there. Speaking of, Jim's Mobile Cafe, almost from the same position that he was founded last time. This time, though, he's going to be the one to win it.
Yeah, Sourdust was the opening killer last time, but he will be the opening death this time. And in fact, I believe it's actually the roles have been reversed. So these two find themselves in the initial gunfights very often. Smoke grenades already being used now. There's roughly half the time left. And Jim's Mobile Cafe is still holding this very aggressive early position, but the Yana clone once again comes out and didn't fall for it this time. Fortunately, a bit slow with that Yana drone timing. And Buttnut there to provide support, once again slowing down this attack.
Oh, he swings just a second too late, as they will get themselves in position to look to open up Attic. And, well, he's aggressively positioning himself to catch the player back as they retreat through. Oh, spotted! And unfortunately, just a second too late. So we will see the Snake Eye there. Pawnien just going to escape for the moment. Keep that Gemini in play. Jim, well and truly isolated for the moment, is going to be droned out from above by Obi, I believe it was. Andrew has gotten himself into trophy, but oh, look at that. Obi in a great spot. Catches out Jim unawares vertically through that top hatch from Attic. And speaking of caught unawares, Nut's going to do the same, but again, another trade back going the way of University of Melbourne for Croissant. 40 and 4s, it's all coming apart here at the seams. It's down to a 2 versus 2. Obi finds himself another one that can't line up the players that it needs to. And University of Melbourne, despite a bit of a rocky start, take 3 rounds on the fly and the round lead.
This is the first time that UniMelb have been leading, and definitely not couldn't be any sooner. This is almost the end of this defensive half for UwUNSW. So going into this, at least 3-3 is a great, buffer for UniMelb, and knowing that they're going to be working on defense afterwards, definitely, a great position to be in. This is UniMelb's map, so they have chosen this particular one. So it's no surprise that they do their homework and they have come prepared for this. A rough start, as you mentioned, but obviously picking up the pace here, and 3 rounds in a row is a great showing for UniMelb.
Not only that, but we've seen all 3 bomb sites taken apart here. Not only did they win the tertiary, they beat them on their primary, and now their secondary. They are going to be going back to what's their strongest bomb site so far. And they are going to be going back to that playstyle that we saw in the opening round of Oregon here. That vertical roam, that SSG style setup. And honestly, it did big work. Like I said, Obi was the only player to get even remotely close to the bomb site, because all those aggressive frags were found so far away. And they're going to be looking to repeat that.
Yeah, definitely a much needed call, I think, just reverting back to some of that aggression. Last time it just didn't work out for them, sitting on site and waiting for those attackers to come in. So looks like it will be, again, a similar setup. So hopefully it will work maybe just as well for them, if not better. You can't really improve on a 4-1, but 5-0 could be done. But having said that, UniMelb will have read into this attack, the strategy. They have played against it. They know how it's going to work. And now that they're warmed up, anything could go here.
Yeah, well, Andrew, again, just first one in less than 30 seconds. Oh, this time Dragrin can't pull the 180. And all of a sudden, this is looking more and more like an attacker-sided Oregon so far. Andrew, 9 frags under the belt. Only the 2 deaths will be fragged out immediately by Jim, who, honestly, not quite the same level, but not too far behind Andrew, honestly, at this point. could be the one to help them equalize the score here. But Spud, less than a minute played and already 2 big frags off the board.
Yeah, it just means that these remaining players are really going to have to step up. They can't rely on, their carries, their Ashe mains, their Jaeger mains to do all the work for them. They're going to have to, do a bit of shooting themselves as well. And shooting we will see here as this wall is opened up and we expect to see contact very soon. But Nut, once again in this aggressive position, he's taking on 3 players at once. Sourdust gets the better of him, but is taken low. And that's meeting room given up as well. With Gem's Mobile Cafe looking very isolated here.
Well, for the moment, it's an even-ish race for the most part. Sourdust is low enough that it's not going to take a huge investment to find that frag. In a game like Rainbow Six, honestly, with a sliver of health, you can still find those headshots. Still upset the momentum here, but Jim, look at the angle. If he can shut down anyone crossing that breach, that's big damage. That's utility off the board. That's one less gun in the hands of University of Melbourne as well. For the most part, University of Melbourne, walking in. Oh, no! Portian falls. Unfortunately, Jim has absolutely no clue that Croissant also in the same room. So we'll be beamed out of existence. A 2 versus 3 here. Well, 2.1 versus 2, obviously.
Well, that's very point 1 indeed, and these smoke grenades could actually end his life. So he's going to have to be very careful here. But with time ticking down, it's going to be now or never. Execute has to come out soon. But these last 2 players are quite split up, and Kaya is holding this very tight angle. He knows there's a player nearby, and he's just prepping for it. The swing comes out. I'm not sure if we're going to actually see it. We will see it. He doesn't actually know it. Unfortunately, Kaya misses that. Obi gets a kill, leaving it 3v1. Waxy all by himself now. Got the shotgun out with the plants coming down, and he's going prone on the ground just to have a bit of a think. Swinging wide now, but no, he's not going to get it as Sourdust picks him off for a 4-2 attacking half.
Look, Spud, I'm not liking the look of this. It's getting uncomfortably close to Red being right again about the upset. 4 rounds on the fly on the attacking half here in Oregon. It's looking good for the University of Melbourne going onto their defensive side. And, well, Andrew just having a flying start to things. Obi quickly catching up, not to mention Croissant there as well, chiming in time and time again. Their defense, though, it's looking a little bit different to kick things off here. Dorm's the primary site to start things off there for them. The clash there, but it's going to be 6 picked out. And, well, Jim might just full send it.
Well, he's been doing a lot of sending, so I wouldn't I wouldn't expect anything less. I think he's tired of delivering coffees. He's going to deliver some full sendage with that Amaru pick. So I don't think that UniMelb have really read into this, but I'm going to predict that he's going to go through that kid's window. See right there on the stream, he's going to go in through there, and either he's going to get 5 kills or he's going to get domed straight away.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's no middle ground with an Amaru. Either it's... well, actually, no, there's the middle ground. So you either get 5 kills, you either die straight away, or you instantly trade with someone. There's just... It's both players headshot each other, it's it, that's done. You forget there was an Amaru even involved. Well, 10 seconds out, we will find out soon enough as to just how well this pick comes in for Jim. Jim, who is currently top of the table for frags for his own team at the moment, has really been going huge here. Trying to keep them in it as much as he possibly can. And, well, is it going to be Dorm? Kids, it looks like he's heading that direction for the most part. But does have options available to him for the moment. You'd have to imagine. Surely there is nowhere else that he's going to go. Yeah, but no, on the peg says, look, it's over there, dude. Go for it.
I think this is going to be a big window plus a kid's bedroom. Sorry, not kids, the games execute, but this could throw a spanner in the works here. I'm not sure how the Amaru fits into this apart from just winning it.
Well, there's only one person, 2 people on the site from the looks of things. This could work.
Who knows? It could either go terribly well or terribly poor. It's just one or the other, and I think they're gearing up for it. They've actually stacked up all this utility ready to breach this big window, execute. I think they are just going to send it here.
Yeah, in Jim goes straight in. Does he? No, not found. Oh, yes, there we go. It's one, it's two. Jim's on the job. Croissant's going to find the golden dragon. A third even for Jim. It's the primer one. It's 3 kills on the fly. Waxy's on the plant. All of a sudden, they are in the side and it is theirs. Jim might even be able to find himself a 4th. And all of a sudden, it's going to town. And unfortunately, this bus just don't stop.
Oh, I can't believe I never thought I would witness this, but here we are. Plant has gone down. Amaru is well and truly anchored herself in sight. Sourdust and Punion have to find some kills here, but Butternut will take down one. Sourdust returns and finally ends a reign of terror from Jim's Mobile Cafe. But 15 seconds left and he still has to kill 2 and the diffuser. In fact, it's 3 players left. This is not looking good. Trying to pad that KD now, but he will be taken out by a triple crossfire. Look at those chases go, as UwUNSW win their first attacking round in an interesting fashion, to say the least.
I mean, interesting doesn't even come close. The offsite presence in there, yeah, back on your screen. Jim, in for 1, in for 2, even finds himself a cheeky little 3rd, pushing up top white, and this all came down to the off-site presence in that defensive setup for University of Melbourne. Croissant was looking to hold Freeze's stairs, pushing up onto the first floor. They had 2 down in kitchen. It spiraled so quickly out of control that, honestly, even if, Sourdust had more time to work with, I don't think there was a chance.
Yeah, we've seen these offsite holds so far. Quite common from both of these teams. UniMelb, obviously, their first one there, and Uwe doing it quite a number of times. So we also see that weakness come into play. If you just hit site, there may not be enough time for those players to get back onto site. And of course, with speed like Amaru, who whole shtick is getting on into places very quickly, it's just really, really difficult, especially with so many bullets. And of course, in the hands of Jim's Mobile Cafe, serving up a lot of kills there. Definitely carried the round through, and a lot of momentum change there as well. I think just changing up the pace definitely needed there as well.
Yeah, it will be a Sophia this time around, so a little bit more vanilla, nothing crazy for Jim. But we are going to be heading back to dorms. We are going to see, for the most part, and almost, in fact, in exactly picture-perfect repeat of the operators brought to the table as well. So I think University of Melbourne, they understand that round for what it was. It was an anomaly. It was just one player getting in, doing some significant damage before they had a chance to react. And so we will see them go back to it. We do see that downstairs hold once again. And, well, University of Melbourne, can they stall that out? Can they prove that it was just a one-round flash in the pan? Or do we see University of New South Wales equalise?
Yeah, well, you know what would really test that theory? If Uwe did it again. Now that would be ballsy. That would be big brain thinking. But alas, it is not to be. It will be a big tower push, looking a little more traditional, going to open up that attic wall, and then they can start to work from there, maybe go through that trophy, maybe go through the big window as well. Mute Jammers will, however, be slowing some of this down. So once again, both teams will have to be taking meeting, and we're going to see a lot of fighting going on here as both teams struggle to hold onto it.
Well, it's going to come down to drone work. It's going to come down to clearing out these off-site bodies. And then already we start to see things opened up. Interestingly enough, the approach is to get the top of that meeting wall so they can threaten up into that attic position as well. Waxy straight on to walk in, looking to get that exothermic off as well. And, well, not wasting any time, it would seem. Still over half the round left to be playing. Obi finds himself in a bit of a pickle for the most part. It's not the greatest of positions to be holding. Crossfires can be established and can well and truly upset things, but look at that Sourdust. Could look to pinch in from kitchen up big tower stairs and provide whatever support could be needed here. But honestly, it's like a game of chess. The board is set, the players are ready. It's going to come down to momentum and timing as to how well it all.
Yeah, I'm really liking this attic push here. Usually attic is a very notorious position to take. It's very, very difficult. But Uwu have actually committed to it, and they've actually got 2 players down fairly far. However, there is 1 player watching that rotate on the cross angle, and of course this Aruni is holding just outside game. So will be a crossfire there, but unfortunately I don't think they're actually aware of Sophia's position either.
Oh, they are now. The concussion's going through, but it's Obi prone to find the frag. It's traded back on the form of Pornian. But look at that. Waxy's on the plant. He's going to be denied, but quick trades going back and forth. A 3 versus 2 here for the University of Melbourne, but there's 35 seconds left. UwUNSW might be able to pull this one back, especially with Jim's Mobile Cafe on the job. Dragger in there as well. They brought it back to that 2v2. Health bars, not the healthiest. They're looking for those positions, looking for information. Player could pinch in any moment. Croissant looking to try and shut things down with the help of one, but no, can't do it. It's down to the 1v1. Jim's Mobile Cafe versus Croissant. Mute versus Zofia. Time is not on the side of Jim. Croissant looking to try and play that clock. Swings in SMG 11, but Jimmy's going to stick the plant for the most part. He does. He gets it off. M590 in hand. The 180. Oh, my lord. Croissant just able to pull it out there. Jim wasn't quite sure where it was coming from. And University of Melbourne deny the chance in a second round strung together. Get themselves a fifth. And, well, Spud, they push themselves ever closer to picking up their own map pick.
That was a little too close for comfort for both teams, I would think. You know, having to go down to that last player to go down with that diffuser, and also, unfortunately, relying on that last player to get that defuse. Unfortunately, as you mentioned, that information did come out on top for UniMelb. They did have a little bit more info to work with, and so ultimately, that was the deciding factor there.
Well, it's rough. You have to feel for UwUNSW. You have to feel for Jim's Mobile Cafe. The guy has just been going absolutely huge. Picking up some big frags. Unfortunate, it's not enough, especially with Croissant playing that mute, playing those tight angles of the M590. Definitely an upsetting round, to say the very, very least, but it pushes them closer. University of Melbourne looking in a good spot to close this one out.
Yeah, that's definitely a great scoreline to be on. Not quite match point yet, but it will be 5-3, so definitely have the advantage there. Once again, they will be using that elbow hold that we see very common here, a shield and those ADSs being placed in for a heavy hold. Smoke has been brought, and it is in the hands of Andrew, who very much well versed in killing people, so I expect he will be very proficient at that spot as well. So definitely lots of power positions to be cleared out here, looking once again more like an anchor hold as opposed to roam style.
Yeah, look, it worked once for UwUNSW. It didn't work again, unfortunately, so you can understand why Melbourne are going to be looking for that stock standard elbow extension sort of bunker hole down in the basement for the most part. No K on the board means they can get hatches open, though, on the side of UwUNSW. They have those options. They can push down main stairs, freezer stairs, big tower stairs, should they so choose, even through con. But it's a matter of getting those drones in positions, looking for that information, figuring out where the weak point in this setup is, and then transitioning that into it, execute onto the site. And, well, unfortunately for them, it's Andrew to pick up the smoke playing an elbow.
I'm just seeing a very interesting pattern here in that both sides have actually quite mirrored in their operator lineups. They both chose to go with kind of the same setup and the same lineup on either side. So the only difference is, I believe, Waxy has chosen to bring that thermite instead of the ace. So whether this will play out the same way is we'll have to see. I do expect a lot of resistance, and a lot of the fighting will be taking place around that bunker area, as that is quite, you know, usual, but I think they might actually be starting to go for freezer push as well. This freezer hatch being opened up, and I think this may be the weak point you mentioned. This is where the attack will be coming from.
That's exactly it. It's finding those weaknesses, gauging the resistance, and what have you. For the most part, Jim pushing down, looking to pressure in through freezer, get that cut off, get the exposure in through laundry if they can as well. But Poignant is going to be the one looking to lock this down, looking to deny if possible. But they have so many options. They've got Waxy, who can push down laundry stairs. They can establish that crossfire, has the smokes as well. Sourdust's going to be the first one to take some significant damage. His position in Boiler, but not enough to find the frag. And there we go. Speaking of, it is Jim to fall first. The trade comes out. Obi to the hands of Waxy. Nitro Cell ripped and thrown. Croissant connects. This is looking worse and worse for UwUNSW. Is this unstoppable force that is University of Melbourne, and Croissant definitely helping contribute there just taking heads off cleanly.
That's another one for the books there. 3 versus 2 now as Nomad will pick up 1 and it picks up a second. Oh, never mind. He will make it 3, and that suddenly the numbers have turned. Croissant is looking alone there by himself. Butner and Kaya will be attacking, and in fact, he will pick up a 4th, I believe 4K, to finish it off. UwUNSW will take actually this basement round, as looks like we have seen the tables turned.
Welcome to the Caster's Curse, coming in around number 10. As soon as I start hyping up one team, well, it all comes apart. University of Melbourne, they can't quite hold on. UwUNSW back within 1 round. As Melbourne look to be heading back down to the basement. Couple of changes, couple of shifts. At the moment, the Pulse could be making its way through for South, switching off that Goyo, it would seem. No, 6 pick there. It's going to be a Malusi. Not Goyo, so they are looking to bring it back again. Which is, I mean, it's interesting, given just how handily UwUNSW got themselves in and took control of that site.
Once again, we will be returning to that basement site, and very much, again, a similar setup, I expect. Again, lots of utility was dumped in that in this 90 area, this elbow site, but UwUNSW actually choosing to take another route and avoiding that entirely. And I suppose that is one way of dealing with the utility place there, simply just walk around it. There's no point taking bunker if you don't need to, and there's no point throwing yourself against all the shields, all the smoke canisters, and all that utility if you can just find another way around it. And I think UwUNSW have done a very good job of finding the spot, as you mentioned, where the defense is weakest and just poking and prodding at it until it breaks.
That's exactly it. They need to find those avenues in, and they have been, for the most part, been able to do so. How much it has been on those hero performances is a different question as well. But, I mean, we've seen several players step up in the server who have gone absolutely massive to secure rounds.
Again, we're looking, that's interesting, seeing a little bit more of a roam presence, or not a roam, but an offsite presence here. Union playing quite aggressively at the top of these freezer stairs. So maybe not so much giving up the freezer stairs as early as last time. It was given up almost entirely last time, but it will be held onto this time. So Dragon now also entering from this main stair area. So it looks like once again we will be seeing this back take, freezer and laundry area. Once again, foregoing this bunker area.
They are doing their job. They're doing their due diligence, clearing out the roam, clearing out any potential threats that could arise and threaten them from that post-plant position, or even as that behind the execute position as well. Hornian struggling a little bit so far in this matchup, I think, in no small part to the fact that the Jaeger changes have been a struggle for a lot of people to get used to, in fact. So maybe, unfortunately, Waxy, goodbye, Andrew, takes out one of the big threats. The smoke, the first operator to fall here for University of Melbourne. And honestly, I could not think of a worse operator to lose.
Yeah, especially in that position. I wonder now whether Uwe are going to rotate over and start going for this bunker side push now that they know the smoke has been cleared off. They are still opening this freezer hatch, so it looks like perhaps not, but lots of flashbangs being thrown in here now, so it could actually be a bit of a distraction. Not actually quite sure where this attack might be coming from.
There's still a minute, or just over a minute to play here. So it's not a given, it's not required. They just hard to commit to this push for the moment. They still have a couple options in terms of repositioning. Another frag here would go a long way to enabling them to get in and go for that plant. And well, there we go. Speaking of, it's Obi to fall. Jim does find it after being silent for a couple of rounds. Croissant going to answer back with a kill on Kaya. Waxy tagged, but finds the kill regardless. And there we go. It's all coming apart. Buttnut for one, but Dragon is the unfortunate sacrifice. Bordian swings in, finds himself a second, but Jim is on the job. And Spud, we are back even 5-5 here. UwUNSW, after dropping 4 rounds in a row, they looked a bit shaky, but they've bounced back, and they themselves could be the one to push to close it out.
Yeah, that was a very convincing win there from UwUNSW, just collapsing onto site and winning all those gunfights. It was a very split attack. There was one guy in freezer, one guy coming down laundry. Waxy, the diffuser holder, dropped it by himself, down that electric hatch and got a kill and start planning. So it was a little bit confusing even just for us to watch because attack was coming from all directions. And I imagine for UniMelb there in the defense, it would have been just as confusing, or maybe not confusing, but very shocking in that it's just swarming all over them from all directions. So definitely a well-executed attack there.
Well, a question of execution is the thing, though. We've seen a couple of shaky executes from both teams. Well, now they seem to have found themselves that momentum. They're looking to make good on it for the most part. But I mean, it's still anyone's guess as to who takes it to match point first. We still have the potential to see overtime. And the way things are going, it really has been quite neck and neck.
Yeah, I'm just looking at these at some of our round history, and it seems that no matter for both the basement and the second floor side, it is actually attacker sided. Basement a little bit more, but even with the second floor, we have been able to take that second floor attack as well, and of course, UniMelb taking 2 second floor attacks in their attacking half. So, one attack. So. Actually, it looks quite even on that second floor. So really now it's truly even, 5 versus 5. 5 rounds apiece, and on the second floor is where we see the better team come out on top.
Yeah, it's interesting that we're seeing this. So, well, you have to agree, it's an attacker-sided Oregon so far. Both teams have done as well as they can on the defense, but 4-2 split in the first half. And at the moment, not crazy out of the realms of possibility that we can see the same again. Jim, on the job to try and enable this wall to be opened up. Andrew as well, punished heavily there. I believe that was also from Small Dorm's window. Potentially even games. I don't know. Wherever it was, he looked like he was rotating up into attic. But either way, again, smoke heavy threatened early on. That's not what you want to be seeing.
Yeah, again, once we've mentioned, Smoke is one of those critical players with so much utility and importance here. But Koslant, they're taking out Kaya. Oh no, that is not good. Definitely did not expect that peak for sure. And that's definitely turned the tables here as we see 5v4 now. Uwu, a man down on their attack.
Look, it is Nomad, and that is rough, but not totally undoable. But that makes things a little bit harder. Losing out on one of your hard breaches means that you now have a tougher task ahead of you. But even worse still is they lose Jim's Mobile Cafe. Obi with that P10 doing some real work here. Leaves it in the hands of Waxy and Buttnut in a 2v5 situation. Spud, from the looks of things, it might just be University of Melbourne to push on to Matt Point first. But it is still not over. There's still 50 seconds left to play. We could see some miracle happen.
Yeah, it's a difficult miracle to make happen, though, with 2 players remaining on the board and 5 for UniMelb. So definitely, most likely, we will see them take it to match point. However, of course, there is still another round after that. So we could see something else happen, but never mind. I didn't think we'd see this. Running on site, 5v1 now, 4v1, but unfortunately, defenders will be shutting down Waxy, and Waxy and Buttnut will go down as it is. But 6-5 match point to UniMelb.
Well, Matt Point, it could be all over here after this one, or we could have a few more rounds to play. It's really anyone's guess. It has been so neck and neck, and off the back of that, we see Dorms now going in favour of the side of University of Melbourne. They're going to be heading back down to basement, which last time, UNSW, they did win. It's honestly, it's almost too close to call.
Yeah, I really could see that UwUNSW could take this next round. It is very possible, and they have successfully won that basement site 2 times in a row. UniMelb have not been successful holding that basement site. So if past is anything to go by, once we could see a 6-6 going into overtime here. So UniMelb will have to make sure they get everything right this time. So far, they've been making those mistakes and they've been letting those attackers slip through. UniMelb need to win those gunfights and get those early picks in order to hold that position and be able to take this next defense round for their map.
20 seconds left in the prep phase. Basement coming out again. Obi and Croissant both having hit double digits. Still trailing. Actually, sorry, Andrew as well having hit his 10, but all three of them still trailing behind you. 14, 4, and 9. Just going absolutely huge, trying to keep his team in it, trying to keep that momentum moving in the favor of UwUNSW. For the most part, he has been able to achieve that. We see this offsite presence coming in once again. We've seen it a few times where it has been detrimental to this defensive setup, but, well, Jim, first one in, is going to be looking to expand that detriment even further.
Kunyan this time playing in meetings. That's something new we haven't seen so far. We did see him up the top of freezer stairs last time, so it looks like he's going further and further up here and actually holding on to meeting and actually doing a bit of damage with that roam presence, which of course we have seen work earlier. Also one top basement stairs as well to support him as well, but Buttnut is already in. Ping's coming out now, and it will be looking like Buttnut will be seeing first contact very, very soon.
Searching. These drones have been huge so far, and Pawny in just a second too late. Spots the header Buttnut, but not able to capitalize or find anything from it. And, well, they know that there's someone on this first floor, and Buttnut is looking for it. Looking to find any angle, any opportunity. Pawny are not going to give that up just for the moment. First minute of the round played out, and it's just been a game of information. Figuring out who is where, who is threatening what, and just how much room do you have to work with. No damage done yet, though.
I do have to say, it is working out better for
My lord,
UniMelb.
this caster's curse. Oh, that's bleak.
No, that is not what I expected to happen. I guess it's a refrag, I suppose. I was going to say, Punyan still having a lot of territory here, and that's time wasted clearing out that first floor. And however, they will lose a player now, and they will be forced to fall back into this, onto this site now as they prep for this last minute of pressure.
Caster's curse, my lord. Pawnian finds one, and then Andrew just drops from the server. So any advantage they might have gained from taking out Dragon completely lost there. What you hate to see it. You really do, going into the final minute of play. Angles being covered. They're not going to look to give up any opportunities, any advantages. They're just going to hold their angles, play their ones. Look to win the round out that way. Buttnut's drone, get a spot. Pawnian playing deep in freezer, looking to go contest it, but it's Obi to find the next. It is Kaya to fall, unfortunately, but not one of the main fraggers. Pawnian just going to aggressively swing with that new 416 carbine recoil. Waxy might even just go for a straight laundry drop. Jim on the job, though, finds a kill onto Obi, brings it back to 3-3. So it's still contestable for the most part. There we go. Look at that to gear up from Laundry. They can make their way in, go for that plant. Croissant only has so many options. Nitro Cell deep. It's going to find two. Saladust drop the two big fraggers here for UwUNSW. And it's left in the hands of Buttnut. No chance. No dream. University of Melbourne will take the round. And I believe the map, I'm not sure why the pause was called there.
I'm pretty sure that's a map, buddy. You don't need to pause for that. Good half indeed, as they proved they could do it, even with 4 players on the board. 4 versus 5, that's all you need. Yeah.
I think it's just an automatic instinct. Player dropped from the server. Can we get a pause? Wait, no, never mind. It doesn't matter. They won 7-5, so they keep it in regulation time. But there were some rounds that I think it very much came too close for comfort. If you're a fan of the University of Melbourne.
Yeah, definitely. That last round especially was a little bit worrying with a player disconnecting. And of course, the beginning of those that defensive half, we did see UwUNSW picking up 3 attacks out of the first 4. Fortunately for UniMelb, they were able to pick up those last 2 defensive rounds and finally break that curse on basement, able to take it out for the first time. In fact, I believe in their entire defensive half, and that's only 2 times that the basement has been won. So looks like it is indeed okay. It is still a defender-sided map, I suppose, based on the round scores, but nevertheless, it will be UniMelb to take out that first map as they go and win their own map pick.
What's going on with my camera tonight? It is just an absolute Absolute mess. I don't know what's going on. It's something to fix out later on. But, Spud, that is only map 1 of this best of 3 series. So we do have a break there. It's going again. My camera obviously needs a break. So we are going to throw it to a quick break. Get ready for map 2. Cafe Dostoevsky coming up next. Can UwUNSW get themselves a map on the board, take us to the side, or are University of Melbourne going to push themselves further through the lower bracket? We won't know until we get there. Come back after the break. Well, we are back. My camera may not be, but we are certainly. Spud, we saw map 1 just denied there at the very end by Melbourne. Even though Andrew dropped out of the server, it was still a pretty handy map being taken out there towards the end. First half, they took the final 4 rounds. They absolutely established themselves going into the half. It looked a bit shaky to kick things off, but they never really lost control in a significant way. Now, coming into Cafe, we are going to see potentially a map that might even favour UwUNSW's playstyle, which is their, obviously it's their map pick for a reason.
Yeah.
But look, we saw one standout play in map number 1. Jim's Mobile Cafe on the Armory, straight in through Kid Storm's window. What do you reckon? Do we see it again here on Cafe?
There are just so many windows to be working with here. I 100% could see this happening. Like, just through the piano windows, right onto, you know, right on top of whichever poor defenders lying under those windows. 100%. That's what's going to happen.
Well, we see our bands coming through here. University of Melbourne going to be taking away the Thatcher first. No surprises there whatsoever. Coming in, what will UwUNSW take away? Will it be the Nomad, which a lot of teams are running at the moment? Will it be a Jackal? There's really any number of options for the most part. It's going to be a Buck. Okay, I do rate this. A lot of teams rely on the Canadian to be able to contest bomb sites. Means that Sledge is going to be the only one to threaten down vertically. That makes it that much harder to contest the third floor bomb site from below. This is a pretty smart pick, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Buck, especially on that kitchen site, as you have mentioned, is just so powerful. Sledge is a little more vulnerable, especially with those C4s coming up. So I do understand that thinking, and it will be Katie taken off the board as well, along with the Mirror. So again, once again, standard band here on the defense. But Buck, I suppose, is our standout.
Or Jake Gyllenhaal. No, actually, I had to. So you know who Jake Gyllenhaal is, obviously, but
yes.
yeah. Do you reckon that Buck looks like Jake Gyllenhaal? Because it's 50-50. I reckon he does, and like half the people I talk to reckon he does, half people don't. He looks like Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, you know, now that you mention it, sure, I can see what you mean, but it's not my first pick. I wouldn't immediately say, yeah, 100%, that's who he is.
Oh, look, it took me like 6 months to come to that conclusion. So, look, I can understand why people don't see it, but what we are seeing at the moment, we are going to be heading straight up to third floor cocktail and bar to kick things off here. Information is such a key part of this game. Interestingly, though, we aren't going to see Valkyrie brought out. It's going to be what we have seen for the most part, stock standard for University of Melbourne. Malusi, Jaeger, Goyo, Aruni, and the Smoke as well. When I on the board, interesting, they do not opt into it. So it looks like we are going to see that aggressive backstock set up in towards Cigar, looking to contest those angles and play that way. But on the other side of the coin, we do see a lot of utility clear, a lot of flank watch as well. UwUNSW, both teams have some pretty scary rosters.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about how well Andrew did, but nevertheless, that last round, as we saw, Andrew did disconnect without having actually killing anyone, and UniMelb was still able to win that. So it's not all just Andrew. We've seen some insane plays from Croissant, you know, that double C4 from Sourdust, and of course, on the side of Uwe, they have some great plays as well. Dragon and Jim's Mobile Cafe both tearing up, and of course, Kaya with that 4K on that one of those attacking rounds on basement to clutch things out. You know, both teams have really great players who can definitely show up when needed to.
I'm just confused as to what Andrew's doing, but hey, look, if he can make it work, why not go for it? Already we see UwUNSW, 30 seconds flat, up on the roof, ready to go with those hatches. Kaya looking for a cheeky angle onto Cocktail. Not going to be able to find it just yet. There's still some utility they do need to deal with. No Maestro on this setup, as they obviously wanted to bring that Aruni. It's a lack of information priority, I would have to say. But there's still a huge amount of utility that will need to be cleared out. But UwUNSW to even think about contesting the bomb site.
Yeah, that Pixel hold is very strong and backed up with that freezer and bathroom hold. That's 3 layers of defense that Uwu will have to push through in order to execute onto that through that area. Maybe a cocktail, you know, push is looking a little bit better now, but I don't even know if they're aware of just the amount of utility and players that have been set up here.
looking to cover their angles. Kaya very close to a head, but realistically not. Oh, yeah, look, it's rough, it's bleak, you hate to see it. Gonna be tagged up once, and now we see 2 of the 5 defensive players stuck in washroom. It's a very hit and miss angle. If you don't connect your shot straight away onto the player sitting there in pixel, 9 times out of 10, you're either gonna get run out on, killed, or just outright nitro held.
Wow, that's so many players stacked up on this one spot. Kaya now holding this angle from the freezer and waiting for this player to come out of that bathroom. But it looks like he's taking his sweet time, and in fact, both teams are taking a sweet time. 50 seconds left on the clock, and Uwu are barely in the building. I'm not quite sure where their attack is coming from, but there's only 3 players in the site, but haven't actually found any kills yet for either side.
I mean, this is... If there was a strong argument for grouping, I have not seen it. But Nut, though, going to be the first one to find a frag. Obi falls. Who's the Goyo? I mean, shields down. For the most part, that is job done. Still holding on. Still trying to deny this push in. Oh, my lord. Good night, Jim. Portian finds one. He's traded out immediately, but that was a flick to the head. Brings it back closer. Still doable here for UwUNSW and Melbourne, arguably. Andrew looking to hold things down. Finds the kill on a Dragger. Croissant finds the kill on a Kaya. Swinging out. It's going to be yet another foul for Andrews. SMG11 and Butternut in a horrendous spot. Banshee slows him down. Melbourne will take the first round here on Cafe.
Brilliant crossfires being set up there from the bathroom and also from that player playing in Cocktail. There was just no way Uwu could get through that defense. Just so many angles to be watching, and of course that very strong Goyo and Rooney hold in that bathroom, coupled with that play in Pixel, just meant it was a nightmare going through that site. Definitely, we can see why it was their primary site, why they chose to play that first. It was just so convincingly strong. Even though Uwu were able to get the opening pick, they were not able to get onto the site at all.
Well, yeah, it was just a series of unfortunate events came into play there. Andrew, most notably, with that SMG11 shutting things down. I mean, there were so many opportunities where that could have gone horrendously wrong for Melbourne. The grouping in backstock, in washroom, a single frag grenade could, well, even a well-placed impact could have absolutely upset that momentum or any chance at a round for Melbourne. The Vulcan shield in close proximity is not something you want to be getting familiar with. But unfortunately, the time wasn't there. Andrew, just playing off that washroom position, found his contest in washroom, into Cigar, swings out, looking for that long angle belt, finds it as well. So a big round for them. Going into the second, down into kitchen, Pornian, what are you doing? No way he's looking for a spawn peek here.
There is a drone around the corner, so he may get...
Oh my lord!
All shots go out. Jim's takes some damage, but Andrew is taking...
Oh, that's Andrew. Oh, sorry, I thought it was Portian. But even still, like, that was a long-range spawn peek with a newly changed recoil. That was ambitious.
Ambitious, yes. That's the word for it. Wise? Not so sure, but ambitious, definitely. Maybe just a few things just to change up the pace a little bit here. We've been too nice this entire match. No, no spawn peaks, no run out. It's time to change it up.
It was, hey, like, even disregarding the changes that were made last year in terms of run out timers, that was such a, I mean, look, he covered what, 5-6 meters in going for that run out attempt and almost found the kill on the Jim. That was bold. Look, it didn't quite do the job he wanted it to, but it's enough that a bit of a deterrent towards this small bakery push. He's still locking things down. UwUNSW on the job, looking for that top-down clear. Portian, the player who I originally thought was the Jaeger, now gone. Unfortunately, this vigil not quite working out the way they want. Buttnut for a second, in fact, onto Obi. Pushing down, taking control of White says, unfortunately for him, Sour Dust is also there. 3 players of 5, not even remotely close to the bomb site. Oh, Jim! The drop-down shot to even out.
Yeah, I'm just surprised he didn't crouch there at the end to really, put the nail in the coffin. But he will get the job done, and that's 3 players taken off the board. So only going to be 2 players remaining. Croissant is quite pushed up quite heavy on these red stairs. Dragon able to start working these angles now. He's going to be starting to apply pressure. Croissant, however, will be answering back. They need to start hitting hard. So he's going to go for the big play. And he takes out Dragman unaware on that hammer. And it will be, he will actually get away with his life. So a worth it run up there.
And even into code check, he's safe for the moment. Has the barricade. Jim on the hunt, looking to avenge yet another teammate now, but it's going to be a tall task. 3 versus 2. We've seen UniMelb pull it back from worse. They might just be able to do it here. Jim and Whiskey on the drones, looking for info. Croissant could swing out and do some real damage here. And Andrew looking to play that tight angle. So there we go. Croissant spotted. They know where this pesky mute is. Does have the lifeline there. Concussion. I think it may have just missed. They're looking to go for that pinch with the help of Kaya. 27 seconds left on the clock. And Croissant wins it. And here we go. The Iana, he's going to win the follow-up. Andrew there as well. What is going on? University of Melbourne down 2-4. Say no, not today. We'd rather close this one up quickly, thank you.
What a brilliant save there from Croissant, getting that first onto that player, onto the sledge to really bring things close. And then, of course, those 2 kills on those pinching players, really to finish things off. 3K there. Shows, it's not all just Andrew. It's not all just Sourdust. It's not all just Ponian. You just need Croissant alive, and, you've got a game there. That SMG recoil control was brilliant, and holding that off angle, perfect play there to take a second defensive round for UniMelb.
Just huge stuff. Absolutely insane. Look, honestly, Spud, that's going to be a little bit worrying for the mental of UwUNSW. I mean, you lose 1 round off securing yourself OT in map number 1. You're coming into your own map pick. You lose round 1. Honestly, it came down to the clock. There was only so much that could be done. Round 2, you have a 2-player advantage. You have the utility you need to get into the site, and then Andrew shows up and absolutely denies. Well, Andrew and Croissant team up and deny any chance at a comeback. It's just like, this is one of those make or break moments. Either the mental is completely wiped here for UwUNSW, or this is where they look to bounce back, push it away and say, no. This is our map. There's a reason we picked it. We're going to take it.
Yeah, we really got to hope it's the latter because, of course, UniMelb already on that first map. So if they take this, it will be a win for UniMelb. And, of course, everyone's favorite in the caster predictions was UwUNSW, and it's not just because, hopefully we win some Indomie, it's, because UwUNSW, it's a great name. So, don't let us down. At least take this to the 3rd map, please.
We get the clubhouse, and, well, it's a map that, again, most teams, if not all teams, should have strategies and preps and setups for. 2nd floor bomb site, 3rd floor hold, exactly how you would expect a team of this level to be holding a bomb site like this. This is how you look to control things, deny the verticality, make it that much harder, make them work for it. And, well, at the moment, Andrew unfortunately leaving again. That's rough. He's obviously having some connection issues or computer issues, whatever it is. Does put University of Melbourne at a man disadvantage, but they proved that really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I mean, even then, last time they had a man disadvantage, they still won. So, who cares? They can still do it, and that's might be a bit of a booster for UwUNSW, but maybe not so much here if they do lose a gunfight. Those shots just missing the head of that player in Cocktail Balcony, but not being droned out as well. Punion takes some damage as well. It's Croissant and Punion to hold this position down as they need to make sure a retake does not happen.
I can imagine Croissant and voice chat, alright, pointing at you, got the new Andrew in this round. You're going to back me up. We're going to win this one out. And actually, it's Sourdust pushing up white stairs, catches Dragon. Unfortunately, on that white corridor rotate, trying to pinch in and threaten on this cocktail position. A trifecta of resistance being mounted here towards UwUNSW. And, well, one of those prongs is now gone. Pushing in, Buttnut looking to find the 2nd. Can they find the 3rd? Sourdust still here on the job. Again, another 2 versus 4. But the 2 guns in play. One is great, and well, one is not so great, and the not so great gun is the one to find the first kill in this position. Brings it back to a 2 versus 3. Sourdust using that UMP 45. We have yet to hear the oldest sing. And honestly, it's one of the most terrifying guns for an attacker to face down.
Waxy, however, will be taking it off the board. Guess we won't be hearing it today as Stardust finds himself alone. He does have the information. Red Ping's coming out. Gonna go prone, but it looks like the defuse is actually gonna come out instead. Not sure what he's gonna do here. Will he be able to get one? He does. That's a triple. Can he make it 4? He does. It is an ace clutch. Waxy now backing up, but Waxy takes the head off of Stardust and ends his reign of terror. That was very, very close for both teams involved, but it will be UwUNSW to take this one.
I don't know who should be more upset there. I mean, Andrew for disconnecting or Sour for being denied the ace clutch up. And, well, it is a round picked up there for the most part for UwUNSW. We are looking to see similar to map number 1, 2 rounds picked up by the team kicking things. Well, but last time it was UwUNSW, obviously. This time it's Melbourne to pick up the initial 2. Now we see a round back going the way of UwUNSW. And from there, last time Melbourne picked up 4 in a row from this point to take the half 4-2. Do we see history repeat itself? Do you reckon? Do we see UwUNSW drop the first 2 rounds of the map and then bounce back with 4?
Well, I'm going to say, for the sake of my pick'ems, yes, I hope so. Absolutely. But I think UwUNSW are definitely a strong team, and I just feel like they haven't been performing to their full potential here. There's definitely more work to be done, and especially I've been noticing flank watch has been a bit of a concern for UwUNSW. I mean, last round we did see that player on white stairs, Stardust, able to pick off Dragon, and before that, of course, taking out Sledge player, coming up red stairs as well. So my concern is that perhaps they're not putting their drones in the right position, or just having someone watching those flanks and allowing UniMelb to punish them for that.
Yeah, I mean, this is little things. I mean, the flank watch hasn't quite had the coverage it's needed to. We saw that in that second round. I mean, the fact that Quistant was able to get in, punish Dragrin, who was on the vertical. There was no air jabs, nothing to deny his push up red stairs. So maybe it is coming down to a lack of coverage, a lack of information, a lack of preparedness and enabling their teammates to do the work they need to. But at the moment, it's still only 3 rounds into map number 2. It still could go either way for the most part. The only way my camera is going is into oblivion, it would seem. But we are still waiting on Andrew to come back. So what we might do, we will throw it to a brief break while we wait for him to get back in the server. We'll come back as soon as he's ready to go. We'll see you soon. You can't see me. Okay, now you can see me. Andrew's back, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready to kick off map number 2 of this best of 3 lower bracket run here once again. UwUNSW off the back of that last round, just able to sneak it away. And Spud, do you see what I see?
Here we go. It is the Amaru. Amaru is prepped and ready once again from Jim's Mobile Cafe and its 3rd floor site as well. So we could be seeing him run onto site once again, and catch the defenders off guard. Either that or he'll, get domed by an Aruni gate or something stupid like that. It'll be one or the other.
Yeah, look, it's one of those situations where it is either min or max. There is no in between, like we said. So he's, I think it's a case of it's very lucky there's no cap can or frost on the board, because it's one of those, look, I'm going to go in, and then all of it's your worst possible nightmare. But here we go, prep phase, 15 seconds out. Jim honestly found the triple last time around in Oregon. You can only imagine what he might find this time.
Either he's going to find a quick shotgun, or he will find, I presume, fairly good results. Once again, I think we're seeing a very similar setup as we saw last time. They have chosen to bring, once again, that Aruni and Ligorio, so very strong presence in Pixel. And of course, these Malusi gadgets did so much damage last time, and just slowing down that last-minute push from UwU as well. So maybe they're changing up the pace and going things a little bit quicker this time.
This is going to be a cocktail, Sen. 100%. New, cocktail balcony, straight in, swing into cocktail. And, well, Butternut, unfortunately, the one to leave the server this time. So, look, it is just curses both ways. Waxy, oh no, the hot breach then is going to full send it. 3 players in, swinging in, one's found, and Jim, again, kicking things off with this armor pick. Unfortunately, he's fragged out much quicker the second time around. Kaya there to trade back on to Andrew after teammate was felled. And Spud, with just over 2 minutes to play, we're still on a 3 versus 3. Obi caught with the nitro cell. It's all coming apart here for UwU. Another trade back, as unfortunately Waxy does fall. So does Portian. What is going on? We aren't even in the second half of the round, and Sour just back stock by a frag grenade and some bullets. In trouble. Nitro cell towards Cocktail. Gonna go for the detonation. There's still 13 seconds left to go until we are halfway through this round. 1 in Cocktail, 1 playing White Stairs. Sourdust with a sliver of health is going to look to go and pick up his teammate, but the plant is going down.
Dude, this could go just any way. It is crazy. Diffuser is going down Sourdust Harbor, and Pinion very, very low, so a bullet could end their lives on both opposite sides of the map. This send like that a little bit more in mind. Another one, and unfortunately feeling that loss of button early on as well, gets none as Sourdust a triple kill, and the diffuser has been found and it will be deactivated.
We lost you there a bit to the... My camera's going to the void, your microphone's going to the void. Sourdust with somehow the lesser of the 2 health bars available for University of Melbourne does pull it out 2 crisp, clean headshots, and now it's UwUNSW to call the pause. Unfortunate there, but 3 rounds picked up for University of Melbourne here on the defensive half. Cafe Dostoevsky the second map. Look, maybe, just maybe, this is a quicker pause. We won't know, but the one thing we do know for sure is even when Croissant and Andrew are dead, even when Portian is down, even when Obi is not a non-factor in his matchup, Sourdust can go absolutely huge.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen him do it before. I still remember that 2K on that very last Oregon round with that Nitro Cell perfectly placed, and he has got a lot of opening frags as well. I'm playing that Nomad, so definitely not a bad player for sure. And for both teams, definitely showing up whenever they lose their players. It shows that it's not just a one-man band, it's not just a one-man show. These players are playing as a team. They work together, and they can adapt as well, even when they lose a player.
Well, you never want to... It's strange that we've had both teams now suffer a disconnect, and again, no sign of how long or how far away old Butternut is from getting himself back. And it looks like for this 5th round of this map, we're going to be heading back to kitchen service. Last time, obviously, it was Croissant and Andrew who teamed up to shut that. And it was mostly Croissant, honestly, with that SMG-11 in hand. Absolutely just upsetting any chance at a comeback, any chance at a contest of the round. UwUNSW, despite having every advantage, were not able to capitalize it and translate it into a round win. We see Croissant back on it again. Andrew this time not on the Jaeger, though. Hopefully, maybe with that smoke, he can look to do some damage.
And I do want to point out, though, the other thing that I don't think the audience can see, but Waxy has actually picked Finker. So I think they're embracing the send a little bit in a more, I don't know, in a greater fashion, I suppose. Finker usually, again, not picked. Just the recoil mitigation part of a gadget is usually considered a bit of a throw for your own team. So a lot of players will choose not to bring that. But maybe doesn't even have frag grenades anymore. So I'm not really sure what this might be. Maybe just...
He's got the Gon 6.
Yeah.
I can tell you that much. That's... Honestly, yeah, look, there we go. Waxy's now sitting on the ace. Again, you guys can't see the hand. We have all-knowing vision as casters, which is why sometimes it is a curse. There is a price to pay when you're all-knowing in the casting booth. We are still waiting. Again, we might just throw it to a quick break here rather than sit here talking, boring you with what's already happened. We'll throw it to a quick break. Again, we'll bring it back as soon as Buttnut's back in the server. Again, we'll see you guys soon. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be getting straight back into it, but it's back in the service, but we can kick things off once again. Round number 5 underway, getting started. We'll throw it over to the screen in a moment. We just came off the back of University of Melbourne, again, taking another solid victory there, despite the full send coming through. Sour Dust clutching up again, being the lowest health bar of the 4 remaining alive. I was able to find those 2 kills, deny the chance at a second round for UwUNSW. How much more can UwUNSW take, do you reckon, Spud?
Look, if they don't take the next 2 rounds at least, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to come back from this. I mean, going 5-1 on your own map on attack, but still on your own map is not a good place to be in, both mentally and in terms of the game. You have a huge battle to be playing for the next, for your defending half, and UniMelb have shown that they can really play even on, you know, other people's map picks. They've shown up very strongly. They've brought great setups as well. So, you know, UwU really have to step up their game. It's now or never, and if they don't do it soon, you know, this game could slip away from them.
Well, I think it's at that point it is starting to slip away a little bit. This round is going to be incredibly telling as to how this half does play out. Honestly, I think if UniMelb take this one as well, I wouldn't be surprised if they could string together a fifth going to... Actually, no, that was the one bomb site that UwUNSW did win. It was Breeding and Fireplace, so maybe they could get themselves a second on the board. Kitchen is going to be a bit of a beast to overcome. They're going to have to go for that top-down clear, as has been their playstyle in previous rounds. Deal with these off-site roamers, pinch in towards the bomb site. Pornian going to be one of them at the moment, playing around pillars, having a nice look at the pretty picture in front of him, but still very wary of any threat, looking for that long-range vertical angle onto New Bell Catch.
And already players have made progress into into this building now, which is good considering a couple of these rounds they've had trouble getting there. But never mind, Punyan will take out Buttnut, and that's another player. Buttnut taken out once again, this time from a bullet and not so much DC. Kaya, however, will spot out a player on the ping and gets one in return. So Punyan will be paying for that particular position here, as it is 4-4. With about a little over more than half of the round left to go.
Yeah, that's still got to favour University of Melbourne, honestly. A Jaeger who's already put out that utility, already done their job for the most part, versus an Ash who still had a decent chunk in the belt, in the back pocket, breaching charges, breaching rounds to clear that vertical. Croissant just assuming the position once again. This is interesting though. Andrew very deep into VIP with that shield. Has the rotate coverage as well towards Whiskey, should they need it. But again, they're gearing themselves up for that vertical take, get that control. Last time we were here, Croissant pushed up red and punished. Do they have coverage? Do they have the wherewithal to stop that from happening a second time around?
Yeah, once again, this Sledge is in the same position, playing those same angles. You'd have to have learned from that. There's no way they would allow that to happen 2 times in a row. And hopefully this Nomad, will have put down some of these claws. Looking now for these angles, lots of pressure being applied from this top floor. But this looks like more of a horizontal setup, so when it comes down to the execute, it will still be trouble.
It is just painful, and not for a lack of skill or attempts here from UwUNSW. Just the timing has been unfortunate for Dragren. Or just the cheeky swing out from Andrew. Toxic Canister looking to stall things out. Does have the utility to deny the push through Freezer for the entirety of the remainder of this round. Jim, he's on the job, looking to try and shut down the player in VIP so they can execute in. He's going to be dropped. Andrew with the SMG-11 is just an absolute fiend. M590 out. There is no one on white. It's a drop down the hatch. 2 more go the way. 3 more go the way of University of Melbourne. They take the round. And I did say it, I think if they took this round, they're probably going to take the next one as well.
And that was, unfortunately, a very drawn-out attack from UwUNSW. I mean, they did get those top 2 floors, losing just 1 player in the process, but the cost of that was time. By the time it was about roughly 30 seconds left, they still had not actually gone onto that bottom floor. And that bottom floor was where all the defenders were set up with a lot of horizontal utility to hold those crossfires. And so, as we saw, they were funneled through that one hatch, and it was just easy picking for UniMelb.
Yeah, look, I don't think it could have got any easier. Fish in a barrel is the closest I think it comes for University of Melbourne, and it's just the nature of the beast in that situation. You have to, well, you need to force into the bomb site. You just funnel through, you drop through that hatch, and it's all over at that point. No chance to even recover. Is that all eyes, all sights trained on Freezer for the most part. And, well, here we go. Final round of the halves. Spud. It is going to be that vertical hold once again here for the University of Melbourne. But this is the bomb site they did lose on, and it was in that post plant, and a large portion of that was Waxy winning the 1v1, both against Sourdough Dust, who had just picked up a 4K, no less. Both of them so low, a bit of a pre-fire. Hopefully it doesn't go that way again.
Yeah, it was so very, very close, and in fact, it was much more in UniMelb's favor, of course. So, hopefully UwUNSW will be able to do something at this time and be able to win it in a little more convincing fashion. Definitely don't want to be going into that half 5-1 as we mentioned, but 4-2 or 4-2 is still not a great position to be in. Edgeb's going out now, which is good. We have mentioned that lack of roam, flank watch, so hopefully it will stop some of these runouts from punishing their flanks.
Greg opened the fireplace window as I believe it was Croissant was still reinforcing that fireplace wall. At the moment, they are looking to threaten Nitro Cell toss, but it is just not quite long enough. There's the Repel's able to escape. We see that air jab denying Sour from going for the run out from Pillar Door. Obi as well punished, pushed off the angle. They can look to start to mount some resistance here. Unfortunately for them though, Croissant, look at this position. SMG-11, M590 from below. They still have no clear avenue into the bomb site, but at least they are starting to deal with some of this utility.
Yeah, but again, time is of the essence here, and they may run out of it once again. Gims Mobile Cafe already in the piano region, but I'm not sure if he knows that Andrew is just around the corner. Both players just holding a position. Oh, this could be very dangerous. In fact, I think he's not quite aware Punyan will be taking the first, and Andrew is still he's in here, and he may be able to get these flanks. He gets one as Waxy caught unawares, and now that's going to be a devastating blow as 3 players remain for UwUNSW. Never mind, 2 players now against a 5.
Yeah, look, it's a terrifying angle to be contesting at the best of times, and it's even worse when there's an M590 in hand. 2 players remaining, as it has just been an absolute sweep out for University of Melbourne. Obi just trying to play some mind games, peeking around that cocktail double door. Kaya is on the rappel, or spots the head, but again, it's a case of too little, too late. Oh no, Sour Dust, he's on this pillar door. Does he have any inkling that... No, Kaya might have been able to find a frag there, but is going to rappel straight up to the roof. Butternut pushing in, gets the diffuser back. 28 seconds left here, Spud. This is going to be an uphill battle, to say the least.
Yeah, unless UniMelb start throwing themselves needlessly at these players, I really don't see how they could lose this. They just have so much manpower advantage and so much time advantage. And with still so many players crawling, there's just going to be so little information for UwUNSW to work with. 10 seconds now as they start making their way onto site. They have gotten to site. Kai picks up 1, 4v2 now as he starts trying to go for the defuse. He is being covered, but there's not too many angles. In fact, Croissant gets 1, and it will be this last player alive as he gets off the defuse. Just deny that KD as defenders win 5-1 on a defending half on not their map. That is stunning. That's a very good, very, very good performance there.
Look, it was a case of damned if you do, damned if you don't there, for the most part. Even if he had secured the plant, he was dead moments later anyway. And well, going into the half, UwUNSW down the defense. They have 4 rounds that need to be picked up here to equalise. And if they drop a single one, it is map series point going over to University of Melbourne. Andrew back on the Ash. This is where things could start to get a little bit spooky. Obi, get a 6 pick potentially off this 0. Onto an IQ. Interesting. Baiting out the Valkyrie for an Aruni as well for Kaya. This might have been a big brain play. Yes, there's still Yokais on the board that IQ can find, but I mean, that's one less bit of utility available for the IQ scanner to spot.
Well, never mind that. Oh, sorry. For a second, I thought that Obi had switched off the IQ, but he was switching. Well, he has stuck with his IQ, so... Well, it perhaps looks like it was not a terrible decision to switch over to the Valkyrie. There is lots of information, of course, to be gained here, as you mentioned, from those Echo drones. But there's also a lot of information denial here. We have both the Vigil and the Mute, so looking like we're seeing a bit of a return to that roaming playstyle that Uwu made work for them very well early on last map in Oregon, but will be otherwise a standard defense with, I assume, a player playing in Pixel.
Well, first round of the second half. If there was a time for them to run away with it, it would be right now for UwUNSW. Jim's Mobile Cafe on a deep roam down towards this VIP entrance. Might be able to catch Bordian if he's in a bit of a hurry. But I think it's a case, again, too little, too late. Not quite heads up enough for him to know to go and push in behind as Bordian was facing the wrong way. Botnut as well. Very close to finding some sort of frag onto Croissant there, but not to be. Not to happen at all. There's some deep offsite presence here for UwUNSW.
A frag grenade being used to open the hatch. Now, that's something we don't see every day. Interesting use of utility, but, you know...
Iana is also equipped with the Gon 6, should she choose to go that way.
Interesting. It'll get the hatches open, but, you know, questionable, but if it gets the job done, it gets the job done. Looks like there will be some presence underneath. This hatch has been open, and Jim's Mobile Cafe as well. So rather than playing Pixel, they will be choosing to play underneath. But Punyan will be droning in with his Yana drone, so they will see that there is in fact nobody downstairs. Stardust, however, will take out Buttnut, and that's another player off the board for UwUNSW. Not a great start for them.
He ran out, punished yet again. Well, this could be the signal of the end for this matchup here. University of Melbourne, they've got one player advantage. They do have time to work with here in terms of this execute. It's a very passive hold, would be the best way to describe it here for UwUNSW. We're not seeing that aggressive contest in through Cigar. We're not seeing them play those aggressive angles. And Pornian does have the Gon 6, crazily enough.
Well, you know, I guess we'll find out whether he actually uses it later on. Maybe you use it to take a down play and just really rub it in. You know, I would think that's an acceptable use for it and a reason to use your frag grenades to open hatches. But, you know, it is what it is.
To be fair, the last couple of times I've used it, I forgot that I had it equipped. And instead of using my secondary pistol to confirm the kill, I've tagged someone with a Gon 6. It's literally done less damage than if I literally spat on them. So, look, it is, I think it needs to be changed. Oh my lord, Dragrin, he's in a bit of a trouble spot at the moment. Rotates back in, or somehow, with the help of Jim, well, actually it's Jim to take it in fact, they do find that and kill to equalize. They're just trying to jump in, funnel through, catch the player and watch him. They need to dual swing this one. Catch him with overwhelming force. Dragrin, he doesn't care. He finds one. Luckily, Andrew gets it there in the end. Time is not on their side. Jim is locking it down. Kaya there as well. Andrew has to go huge. But again, it's a case of too little time, too many angles to cover. And UwUNSW will take the first round of the second half.
A much needed round there just to change up the momentum and change up the pace. You know, the way things were going, UniMelb were looking like they were going to run away with it. But definitely, despite those early losses from UwUNSW, they were able to pick it back. And just as we mentioned, that slowdown in terms of the attack, just running out of time. It's a common theme we've seen a couple of times here. And both times, you know, for Uwu attacking the third floor, they ran into the same problem. They ran out of time right at the end. And this time, although UniMelb able to get a little bit closer than Uwu, unfortunately, they weren't able to seal out that attack.
Look, honestly, you know what the devs need to do? So yes, Gon 6, only one round. Yes, that's cool. Make it so you can throw the Gon 6 as well. Like, just tomahawk it at your opponent. If it hits the head, one shot. 100%, that's what needs to be done. Because, I mean, you can't even get a kill headshotting someone with the Gon 6 at the moment, which is truly depressing.
I would approve that change. I think that is a much needed feature. They need to stop fixing all the bugs and they need to do that first. That's the first thing they need to do.
Put SI on hold. We don't care about the 6 Invitational. Gon 6 headshot, that's what we need. That plus a holoscope or something, 1.5 even would be great. You know what?
No.
3 times. We'll just chuck it 3 times on the Gon 6. Let's make it a laser cannon.
Oh yeah, we could make it a game mode too, Gon 6 only.
Dude, I'd rate that. I would play that. But, like, make it so the explosion was that of a fuse puck, I'd do it. 100%. I'd play that all day, every day. But speaking of playing, we are in round number 8 here. University of Melbourne denied map series point in that last round, but we're down to Kitchen Spud. This bomb site, it's about verticality. If you can get control on the first floor, although it may be just a straight push in through Bakery, if UwUNSW lose control of small map, they could find themselves in a real trouble spot.
They have, of
Or
course,
Andrew's drone there. That was so incredibly lucky.
oh, vertical holes already have been opened up, so definitely planning on holding this vertical floor. But sorry, UniMelb will be looking to contest it as well. They have brought the sledge, and they are starting to push down from the vertical as well. So lots of fighting we will be seeing as they start working this. But looks like he's going to start opening up this wall with a Maverick and a drone in hand. He will know which side this bandit is playing on. So frag grenade coming out now, ready to fry that bandit. And if he catches it, it will be a free open for this wall as well.
Well, for the sounds of it, ADS in place, does eat it, and Dragrid looking ready to answer with one of his own Nitro Cell deep, and oh my lord, in the lap of Sour Dust. And that does mean Obi, now their only source of hard breach. And it becomes the question of, do we see them just straight force in through service? Do we see them actually try and open this bakery angle? Andrew, even pushing in from upstairs, might be able to catch some of this offsite presence. Shots in, he's going to swing onto 9, he sprays good. It's Jim to fall, but Buttnut is there as well. Andrew, how aware is he of the fact that there is presence? Oh, the jiggle peak, he knows, he's a knower. And now Buttnut just removed through the wall. The Traces give away the game and just absolutely beamed out of the server.
And that's another crucial pick for this top floor clear now, as both players playing upstairs have been removed. There is, however, 50 seconds left on the clock, which means that the execute will have to happen very soon. Pressure's now being applied from that top floor, but until they get onto the site, the defenders can just kind of wait and see and just, wait for the attackers to make their move.
Despite that phenomenal Nitro Cell, Dragrin, he's panicking a wee bit here as those holes in the roof above him get bigger and bigger. Waxy looking to lock things down with that toxic canister, and it seems that Kaya is well and truly entrenched in Freezer. Oh my lord, Dragrin swings and finds 2 somehow! My lord, just going off with the MP7. And Croissant, with 10 seconds left, looking for the vertical angle, throws a frag grenade down, tries to flush him out. Andrew is going to be there, finds the frag. Can they get the diffuser? 2 seconds left, 1 second. He gets in behind the bomb chassis, and they will look to get the plant down. Unfortunately, Kaya is there, and no support whatsoever from Croissant. That is bleak for University of Melbourne. It is what it is. 1 player above, 1 player on site. There was only limits to what you can do in that situation, but my lord, Dragrin, big 3K that round to bring it out for UwUNSW.
That was so very close though. Had that vertical player been looking through that door, he may very well have caught that Kaya on the rotate, and then with 2v1, definitely could have been winnable. I think he was actually just caught reloading, so unfortunate time to be topping up your gun. So that's definitely going to be a sting for UniMelb, but nevertheless, they are 5-3, 2 rounds up, so they do have breathing room, and they do also get to play onto this tertiary site, Reading Room Fireplace. Same site for both these teams.
Oh lordy, they're still denying it is the tertiary bomb site coming in, Spud, and it is going to be that vertical hold. At least that's the way it's looking for the most part. It's an interesting proposition. They're 2 rounds away from equalizing. They were down 5-1 going into the half. The momentum they're generating, it's not completely out of the realms of possibility that UwUNSW can bring it back.
Yeah, with every round that goes by, I think the chances of Uwe just bringing it back increases just exponentially, just in terms of the difference. And that, as you mentioned, that mental game can really make a huge difference, and it's going to be working great for Uwe as well. They're just feeling the vibe. They're vibing. They're just going off those crazy, 2Ks and going for those spawn peaks as well. Now they feel confident.
Yeah, look, it's not the Andrew 6 meters outside cafe spawn peak, but it is a spawn peak nonetheless.
Oh, he's playing the Skylight too. No. They're sending it. They are absolutely just sending it now.
Oh my lord, almost a kneecap shot coming in there for Drang. Just a pixel off, which, I mean, look, it is what it is at the end of the day. The difference between life and death is Usually just that one pixel to the left, right, up, down. Quissant on his drone to spot the player, rotating in around Pilot. Looks like it will be, I think it was Buttnut, yeah, Buttnut potentially has rotated in. Kaya deep in Pilot for the moment, tucked into dark. That's a power spot if I've ever seen one. Frag grenade being prepped here. Obi just pulls off at the last second. Dragrin realizes that their position is being threatened from almost all sides. This is a lot of mind games for the most part.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's actually only one player from UwU actually upstairs. Everyone else has fallen back onto site now. And so whether he chooses to, you know, give up this position or continue to hold could make or break here. There's just so much pressure, so much utility, but he's got lots to work with, and he's got a gun. Will he get this gunfight, though? Unfortunately, he will not. It's Andrew who comes out on top, and that's the first opening pick and third floor cleared out.
Yeah, look, Andrew, 9 times out of 10 is not going to lose that. And oh, boy. Jim straight lands in the back pocket. Frag grenade is going to take him out. Obi finds a kill on Waxy as well, and despite their resistance, despite all their vim and vigor coming into the second half, it might be all but over here. Kaya pushes in, tucks in behind the bookshelf with the SMG-11. Oh, no, it's Buttnut, sorry. I thought for a second he'd pulled off the headshot, but it is the kill that leaves him in a 1vx situation. Finds one. It is the Gemini Ore. Turns straight into the waiting arms of Andrew. Surprise, surprise. And he gets the kill. And I don't know if you... Oh, my lord, yeah. Look, it was messy. It was a kill nonetheless. And with that, University of Melbourne secure themselves map and series point here to move on through the lower bracket.
Yeah, look, he may have hit us with that sad face on, because we all got to see that bit of a messy kill, but I don't think anyone's really complaining. Taking that critical point there, going on to match point, and just ramping up the pressure on UwUNSW, who now have to win 3 rounds just to bring it to overtime. And mind you, this is on UwU's map pick as well. This is a great position to be in for UniMelb, and they're going to be, you know, they're going to be pumped here, and it's really up to UwUNSW to fight back, because if they don't, UniMelb definitely going to run away with this one.
Well, they are running. That much is for sure. And, well, Andrew is very much sprinting as he has shown true to form. Third floor bar and cocktail, the bomb site of choice in what could be the final match or final round of the night. Looks like we are going for that full hunker down, old school style pixel hold setup here on the third floor. No where mine to pair with that Jaeger, which I mean honestly it just makes it terrifying. Oh no, sorry, there is. Sorry, I just expected a smoke here. But yeah, no, where my Jaeger, full pixel hold setup to try and deny even the Banshee in the middle of the room as well there from Jim. So this is going to be a hard one to flush out. I think this might be a case of we see them look to play that white stairs window angle to find the frag.
Yeah. So far, though, I have noticed that the third floor, it's always been won by the defense. Yeah, UniMelb have won it twice as well on their defense. So if history is to be believed, UwU have a safe, well, relatively speaking, safe site here to work with. They can. It's usually easier to win this one on defense, but of course, nothing is certain. And it looks like UniMelb are ready for this. They know what they're doing, and you know it's for match point. They're gonna send it.
Well, this has been similar to the style of play that we've seen out of them as of late. So it's not crazy out of the realms of possibility that this is what we're seeing. But, I mean, they are doing what they can. Just over 2 minutes here to play. Now looking to clear things out, looking to cover their bases, looking to get themselves some significant control on this third floor before they push on towards the bomb site. They're going to take their time. Honestly, I think Melbourne, they're just going to play this one smart. They know that they could end things here tonight. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. That was very close to disaster.
Could have ended poorly there. I'm surprised he got away with that. But he will get away with his life. No harm done. But that is that Claymore cleared out. And maybe he might go for it a second time. But it will be looking like Obi now, sending some of these grenades in. Unfortunately, first one is caught. But now looking to deny this pixel spot. And looks like that second one also caught as well. So very well done, Butler holding on to this position for his dear life.
Oh, he finds the kill on Obi as well. He does not care. He's just going to hold this pixel position. Has Dragon in support. Never mind, Andrew's there. Of course, he just swings, finds the kill poorly, and finds the follow-up. As the swing does happen, and all of a sudden, the man count back in favour of the University of Melbourne. 1 minute left on the clock. Kaya very much stuck in the bar freezer for the most part. And these walls starting to crumble in and around in sour dust. Looking to try and catch anyone on the flank. There's so much offside presence. And oh no, Jim's in a world of hurt. Croissant pushing in to pillar door. Another falls and another chance at the comeback falls by the wayside as well. Waxy and Kaya in a 2v4. Can they pull off the Croissant Andrew duo comeback?
Well, it's got to be now or never because there is no second chances here. If they lose this, that's them out of this tournament. Waxy looking to provide some support, but there is a player coming out white stairs, and these players are now collapsing onto them. Ponyan is taken down. Kaya is fallen as well as Croissant takes out Waxy, and that will be UniMelb Arctics taking out the second map and the series. That's it. UniMelb are progressing in this lower bracket.
Unfortunately for UwUNSW, that is it. That is all she wrote here in this semester of the AEL University League. University of Melbourne will move on. They will play the loser of RMIT Black versus Monka UTS. So their run
the winner,
will carry
the
on.
winner.
No, it should be the loser. The loser
Oh
drops
yeah,
in the
that's
lower
right.
bracket.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I forgot that.
Yeah, the winner would be a much more terrifying prospect. But it could be a rematch of Monkey UTS versus UniMelb in the opening quarterfinals, or it could be RMIT Black. We don't know. We have our predictions, but it's anyone's guess as to where things go. A big win for University of Melbourne. We did doubt them. In fact, everyone but Red doubted them, which now also puts them at the top of the predictions leaderboard. Look, look, you always like to be right, but you always like to be proven wrong as well as a caster because it makes for those great matches.
Yeah, definitely, and that was a great match indeed. I mean, everyone thought UniMelb, they were going to lose against Uwu, but they came out so strong. In these two matches, Oregon, they did very well, even though it was a little bit close. Going against Uwu, that was of course a 7-5, so just almost made it into overtime, but they did so strongly on Cafe, which of course was Uwu's pick. They did even better than on their own map, which really speaks to the amount of preparation and just the great mental game that they brought into this. So 2-0 it is for UniMelb, and they will be progressing, and they will, as you mentioned, be facing either RMIT Black or Monkey UTS.
Yeah, look, honestly, you're right. You're very, very right. I could not have put it better myself. A stunning showing. Even, honestly, UwUNSW, despite the fact they lost, they did have some absolutely standout moments in that showing. So, look, that's something for them to feel confident about going into their next semester of this competition. But here tonight, that is us done for our broadcast. We have a couple more matches coming our way before we hit the grand final, so make sure you check socials because that is where you will find out when they're coming your way. Again, thank you to Chatime, AOC, Indomie, and RIG. We will see you next time, guys. Bye.